One of the most important things that you can do when you're running a marketing campaign of any kind is keep track of what's going on. The way that we do that in an SEO campaign used to be server logs, and you'd have these huge text files and you'd feed them into some program and it'd parse through all this stuff and it'd spit out stats, and it was very difficult to really understand what was going on. No charts, no graphs, and people just really, they couldn't use them. Well, several companies over the years have come out with different products to help you make sense of all of that data. And they work in a little bit different way. Rather than keeping track of stuff as it happens on your server, what they do is they place a little bit of code at the bottom of your site, and every time a page loads, that code records some information about what the visitor did on that page. The most popular one out there, which also happens to be free, is called Google Analytics. And Google Analytics is a very powerful and robust tool for analyzing traffic that comes to your site. And the reason I'm covering it now instead of kind of going in the order of the SEO checklist is that even after you get analytics installed, it doesn't go back in time and tell you what happened before it was installed. It only starts tracking once you get the code onto your site. And so, if this takes a little while, you're working on SEO over a period of several days, if we install Google Analytics now, then you'll start to get some data a few days into the project, and certainly if you let months and months go by and you haven't installed Google Analytics, you're really starting with no data. It's very difficult to make decisions about, am I going after the right keywords? Are people doing what I want them to do on my site? Where is my traffic coming from? Do I have the right products? Those are questions that you can answer, or at least help to answer, with good data in your analytics. So that's where we're going to dive in here. Kind of a secret, because it's not the way it's done in the checklist, but that's the way we're going to do it. So we're going to start by going to the SEO checklist module, and we're going to go down here to the Track Your Visitors tab. I'm going to click the tab, and you'll see the first thing on here is the Google Analytics module. If you need to download it, you'll click the download link. That'll take you over to Drupal.org. I've already downloaded it. I'm not going to do it again, but basically this will give you some good information about the module. Pick the one that you like, FTP it up to your site, and then you're going to go to, again, on the SEO checklist module, you're going to go to the Enable button. Now you'll see this Enable button only when the module has been uploaded via FTP, but you haven't turned it on yet. You'll see this Enable button. Click on Enable, and it takes you to the module screen. It's just a shortcut to get you to the module screen. I'm going to scroll down here, find the Google Analytics module, turn it on, and click Save Configuration. And notice these two here. Just notice them. Don't turn them on. Just notice them. We're going to come back to those in a minute. All right, so now we have Google Analytics module turned on. Again, we could probably click around and try and find where to go and get to the Google Analytics module, but I always like to go back to the SEO checklist because everything is always right there for me. Track my visitors, and now notice I have another link, the configure link. It only shows up when it's been downloaded, enabled, and now it's time to actually configure it. So we're going to click the configure button. It's going to take us to the Google Analytics module. Now you're going to see some things here that may not make a lot of sense to you if you haven't used Google Analytics before. But don't worry, we're going to go through them step by step. I want to make sure that you have a good understanding about how to track your visitors. It's really straightforward once you understand it. The first thing here is this Google Analytics account number, and it starts with UA-. And you're going to get this number from Google. In a minute, we're going to go and set up a Google Analytics account. I'm going to walk you all the way through that, show you how to do that and where to get that number. The next tabs are things like custom tracking settings, asking you which kind of visitors that you want to track, which roles that you want to track. and some page-specific tracking sections like, hey, I want to track these pages or not track these other pages. Notice that by default it's opted out of a lot of the admin screens. That's a good thing. And all that it's doing with these different settings is it's turning on or turning off that little tracking number that you put in as the very first thing. And what that enables you to do, it's actually quite powerful. What it enables you to do is have complete control over what Google Analytics is looking at and tracking on your site. I'll talk more about that in a minute. Let's go get it turned on and working. Let's go back over to the SEO checklist module. We're going to be going there a lot. And we're going to go to the Create Search Engine Accounts tab. And we're going to need a Google account, and so I'm going to click on the link, and it's going to redirect me over to Google Accounts. And I'm going to go ahead and put in, I'm going to use my, I'm just going to make up an email account. I'm going to use my email account or whoever's, but for this one I'll just call it lullabotvideo@Volaci.com. And this is a functional email. I'm not just like making it up here on the fly. This will redirect to my email box. I'm going to choose a password, a very simple password, something easy to remember. Stay signed in, enable web history. I'm going to turn that off. I don't really need that. I don't know why they need my birthday, but maybe they're going to send me presents or something. Google's generous that way. They're not really, but who knows? You never know. Maybe when they see this video, they'll send me presents. And type in the little CAPTCHA there. Terms of service. Let's read those really fast. Okay, and then accept. And it says welcome. It sent an email to this account, and now I'm going to go log into my email account and click on the confirmation link. So here is my email account. I've logged in. Here's the Google email verification. It says welcome to Google Accounts. To activate, follow this link. Okay, pretty simple. I'm going to click on that, follow the link. Email address verified. I can add a mobile number and get mobile alerts. It'll actually, if I wanted to, send reports to my mobile phone and things like that. I'm not going to worry about that. If you're interested, go for it. It's kind of cool. So now my account is verified. This is my Google account, not my Google Analytics account. Now I've got to go and set up a Google Analytics account, but now that I've got a Google account, I can do that. So I'm going to go back over to the SEO checklist. I've got, back under the Track Your Visitors tab, I've got a sign in to your Google Analytics account. So I'm going to click that link. It's going to take me over to Google Analytics, and I'm going to say Access Analytics. And it kind of tells me a little bit about Google Analytics. Notice I'm already logged in because I'm on the same browser. I just got the email. I just confirmed it. It logged me in. If I wasn't logged in, it would ask me to log in. But since I am, we're just going to fire on ahead. We're going to click Sign Up. So now they're asking me some information about the website that I want to track. And I could just type it in here, but I like to copy paste because in case I type in the wrong thing. In case I type in the wrong thing, I want to make sure that I've got the exact perfect thing. www. If you've got a www in front of your site, go ahead and make sure that it's there. Account name. Now it's going to automatically copy this down here. I don't like the fact that they use your URL as the account name. It's totally up to you, but since most URLs start with www, if you have a bunch of sites that you're tracking Google Analytics, then they're all going to start with www, which kind of messes up I think the usability of it. So I'm just going to type in the name of the site like this, and I could even put in .com. That's not really going to matter, but just something that's useful to you, whatever. And I am right now in Eastern Time, so I'm going to go put it on Eastern Time, and then I'm going to click Continue, and it wants to get my name, which I'm happy to provide, my country, which is the United States of America. Again, terms of service. Okay, I agree. And then we're going to create the new account. Okay, now here is the where it's actually going to start to give you some useful data that you can take back to your site. Notice this is the code to paste onto your site. This is where Drupal is different. If you just took this code, you selected it and you copied and pasted it, say, into the footer of your Drupal site, which you could certainly do, you're going to lose a lot of the functionality that the Google Analytics module brings to the table. So you don't want to do that. I highly recommend that instead you use the module, go ahead and select this little piece of code. Look for the UA, grab the whole thing, copy that out, go back to your Drupal site. We're going to go to the again, I like to go through the SEO checklist module because I just know that all the links are there. Track my visitors, click the configure, and then there's my UA, and I'm going to paste that in, and I've accidentally done it twice, so I'm going to there we go. Perfect. That is my Google Analytics account number. I'm going to leave this alone. Users cannot control whether they're tracked or not. Good. I want to be the one to control that. Add tracking for specific roles. If no roles are selected, all users will be tracked. Now, I'm going to be going into my site a whole bunch. I'm going to go around to a lot of different pages. I don't want to track my own self because that's going to skew my analytics data. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to say, hey, just track anonymous users. We sometimes will have new clients come to us and they'll say, you know what, our traffic is really great at 9 o'clock in the morning every day of the week, and then it drops off the rest of the week. And you know, we don't understand why is that happening, and we get almost no traffic on the weekends. Well, it's because their IT department sets the homepage by default on their team members' browsers. They'll set the homepage as the homepage of the company's website. So when everybody comes into work in the morning and opens up their browser, it loads the company's website and it causes their analytics to skew. And there's some ways around that, but one easy way is to create like a staff member user type and then don't track it. And any user type that you create in Drupal is going to show up on this list right here, and you can tell which ones to track or not to track. Then there's other things like IP filtering and other things that you can do, and but that's just one of the things that you can do with the module. All right, page specific. I'm going to leave that alone. If you had a particular page on your site that you didn't want to track, you could add it here. Obviously, the admin pages, we're not going to track that. And then user segmentation, again, probably something that you're going to leave alone. Track all these different types of links. And then you get down here to certain file extensions. If you have movies or documents or things and you want to track those, it can do that for you as well. Advanced settings, I'm going to open that up. And we're going to talk a little bit about caching. I'm going to unclick that. Caching means that they're going to actually grab the JavaScript code that Google is using and store it locally on your server. This really speeds up your page loads because if you don't cache it, every time the page loads, that little piece of script that Google's putting on your page is going to go out, grab this big piece of JavaScript, pull it back in, load it, and that's how it tracks. And I say big, I mean it's like 1K or something. It's relatively small. But if you cache it locally, it really speeds up your page loads. However, do not turn this on until you know that Google is, the Google Analytics script is working and it's tracking. So I'm going to go here and I'm going to say save configuration. And we're just going to test this out. I'm going to go log out of my site, and here I am on the front page, and so this means I'm an anonymous user. I'm just going to reload it just to make sure, and then I'm going to view source. And I'm going to scroll down to the very bottom of the source of the front page of my site, and I'm going to look for this get tracker. And notice that's the same number that we copied and pasted out of Google Analytics. And this whole thing right here is what's being added to the footer of every page of your site. To me, it's gobbledygook. I kind of know what a lot of this stuff means, but you know, it's not important that you understand it, just that you see that, hey, this is here, the tracking code is here. And oh, by the way, get your own tracking code. Don't use my tracking code. Don't skew my analytics either. If you're watching the video, go to Google, get your account, get your own tracking code. In any case, so now we know that it's installed properly. And now we're going to go back to Google's website, and I'm still logged in, and click Save and Finish. now I want to see that Google is actually tracking my traffic. Now, since there aren't any people going to my site right now, so it's a brand new site, I'm going to go in here, I'm going to click a few things just to give Google something to sink their teeth into, and that's all good. And let's just click one more time on the the home page. And so hopefully now Google's receiving some data. I can find out. Notice I have this little caution symbol here. That tells me that as of right this second, they're not tracking anything, or they haven't received any tracking yet. If I click this edit button, and I go here, tracking unknown, and I can click check status, and it says that analytics has been successfully installed and data is being gathered now. They're waiting for data. And that's one thing about analytics, is that there is a delay of several hours between the time somebody clicks and when data actually shows up in Google Analytics. But now that we know that it's been successfully installed, I can go back to my site, I need to log in, go back to the Google Analytics page, go down to my advanced settings, and I can cache the tracking code locally. And periodically when cron runs, Google Analytics module will go out, grab a fresh copy of that cached code just to make sure, if Google makes any changes to it periodically, that it's got the right code to put into the site. JavaScript scope, we're going to leave that alone. Google recommends this setting. There's some sites, depending on how the site was built, that would have to change that. 99% of you don't need to worry about it. Leave it alone. And then now that we've got that turned on, we're going to click Save. And we're finished installing Google Analytics. We have Google Analytics installed, but that's not all you can do. Anytime somebody fills out a form on your site, like a contact form or an email form, there is actually a module that is not in the SEO checklist module that is really cool. It's called the Google Analytics Tokenizer module, and then it works by taking all the little bits of information that is tracked by Google and the information that they send to you, and stores it as a cookie on a user's browser. And then when that user sends an email using the contact form, it takes that information, formats it, and sticks it at the bottom of the email that you're going to receive after they've filled out that form. And it's two modules working together. One is the Google Tokenizer module, and then the module that actually attaches it to the form is called the Google Analytics Contact Form Web Form Rules Email module. So I want to go through and I want to turn those on for you and show you how they work. So we're going to go under Modules. We're going to go down here. It's under the Statistics drop-down, Google Analytics Contact Form, and Google Analytics Tokenizer. Notice that it depends on the token module, and I have downloaded and put the token module up as well. So I'm going to go ahead and turn that on. And now that I have those turned on, we're going to click Save Configuration. And incidentally, the token module is also mentioned in the SEO checklist, so eventually you would get around to turning that on once we get to talk about paths and some other more advanced. So, you know, we're a little bit ahead of ourselves with the token module, but you needed it, turn it on, it's great. Okay, now that those are installed, that's it. You've turned them on, and there's nowhere to configure them. They just work. So I'm going to switch my browser here. Go over to here. I'm in Chrome. And notice right here, we've turned on the built-in contact form, and we just used the built-in one that's in Drupal. These modules didn't provide the contact form. I just want to make that clear. But anyway, the contact form built into Drupal. I'm going to go here, and I'm going to put in my name. Just put a little thing there, and I'm going to put ben@balachi.com and test. And this is a test message. All right, and when I send this email, then I can go now to my email client, here is the message that I just sent to myself, and as you can see, those modules added all of this stuff right here. Google Analytics information, sources direct. If I had gone from Google and done a Google search and found it, it would say Google right there. And then term right here would be the search term that I had typed into Google to find the website. It tells me what my first visit was, my previous visit to the site, the current visit that I'm on, which are all the same because it's just the first time I've been to the site, and then times visited are 1. This is very useful because sometimes people will come to your website, check out what you have, go out and search around, look for alternatives, try and find more information, come back a day later and look at your site, and then contact you. And that's useful information to have. It tells you what kind of things that you need to be doing to get them coming back in. And so this useful information, as you gather it over time, will tell you what keywords are the most valuable, what keywords generate the most leads. And I think that's one of the ways that you can determine where should I put my SEO efforts. Now, if you're just launching your site, you don't have a lot of data to make those decisions about which ones to optimize for. And so there are other ways that you go about gathering that data. But if you've got lots of people coming to your site, and certainly if you've got dozens of people filling out your contact forms, install Google Analytics, install the Google Analytics Tokenizer and the contact form, web form rules email module, and start tracking that information, keep track of it, and start making some decisions based on the numbers. So now we have it installed on yourdrupalsite.com. Hopefully you've got it installed on yourdrupalsite.com as well too. What I want to do right now is I want to actually take you to a live site that's had Google Analytics running for a very long time and show you what the data looks like and kind of how to use Google Analytics after you've started collecting quite a bit of data. So this is the Google Analytics for Veloci.com, and you'll see here it kind of gives us a line chart. And as you hover over it, it tells you how many visitors you had on a particular day. So 273. So that's fairly useful data, but I can actually kind of manipulate that a little bit by saying, hey, let's view this on a week-to-week basis. How's my traffic doing? Even change and go back. Let's go back to the beginning of the year and just see what the traffic looks like. And we'll get half a week here. This is August the 4th, happens to be right now when we're recording this video. And you can kind of view it by the month, and you can see what the traffic has done over that period of time. I will tell you these low numbers over here, simply we changed the way we were tracking information. We reinstalled Google Analytics to get a fresh start right around in March. So really the first full month of data is April. And things like that happen sometimes, and that's just the nature of analytics and tracking and understanding what's going on with your site. Here's some stats down here. Over that period of time, 25,000 visitors to the site, 51,000 page views. That's approximately 2 page views per visitor. We have a relatively high bounce rate, and the reason is because we have a lot of people who find particular blog posts that we've written at Veloci that are about something maybe unrelated or kind of partially related to SEO, and they'll come in, read that blog post, and then they'll leave. And that's what a bounce is. They look at one page on your site, and then they leave. 65% is pretty high. But one of the things I can do is I can come over here to kind of these dashboard links over here. I can say, you know what, show me traffic sources, and show me the keywords that people are searching on. And let me take this down to maybe a more reasonable 3-month period of time, May through July of 2010. And here are the keywords that people are searching on, and then it gives me individual bounce rates for those keywords. So people searching on the name of the company, well, that's a very low bounce rate, 33%. SEO, Drupal SEO, again, you get much lower bounce rates the more specific you are, or the more specific the keyword is that people found you on. And then you can blow this out. You can expand it. Look at 500 different keywords. And you notice that most of these keywords are related to SEO in some way, shape, or form. But then again, there are other terms that people have searched on that are, maybe not related to SEO. And online marketing intern. I don't know, maybe we posted a job or something, and somehow we started showing up in Google for that, or one of the other search engines. And that's what's neat about Google Analytics. It doesn't just track Google traffic, it tracks Bing and Yahoo and a bunch of other ones as well. Back to the dashboard, there's another really important part of your site, and that's goals. When people come into your site and they actually fill out your contact form, your lead form, or even send you an email, then they've accomplished a goal that you've set. They've done something you want them to do. And you can actually set up goal tracking in Google so that it'll actually go through and show you on a day-to-day basis how many times someone has done the thing that you want them to do. And setting up goals and tracking them, these are all really important things. It's outside the scope of this video, but it's something that's, I think, critically important. Now we've got Google Analytics installed, but that's just the basics. We've gone through, we've made sure that your site is working with analytics, we've made sure that you're tracking, you're caching the code, and we've taken it to the next step too. We're not just letting Google Analytics run, we're actually taking parts of the Google Analytics data, breaking them down, turning them into useful pieces that get attached to your contact form so you can see exactly where somebody came from when they contacted you. Very valuable data, the tools are in place, and it's foundational to your SEO campaign. So now that it's there, make sure you use it.